Do you see this writing? Do you know what it means? Hospitality. You can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it.
Are you sure you weren't like a witness in a trial and you just didn't know it? I was on the stand. There was a lot of people there. Cameras and shit.
They said, sir, you have to stop. You have to stop winking every time you say something. Like it looks like you're lying every time you say something.
So you're winking with both eyes repetitively.
I was like, okay, and I just started doing it a lot.
Welcome to the Horrible Film School, a safe place to watch scary movies. I'm Chris, joined today by my fellow HorrorBulls, Mr. Ryan Hootie.
What's up? Excited to be here, fellas.
And the Professor, Joseph.
Ayy.
Heavy spoilers ahead as we troll 1990s Troll 2. Today's lesson, country living ain't for everyone.
Let me try to give a little brief overview of this movie, which is not exactly the easiest thing in the world to do.
Good luck with this, bro. Here's the thing, like you actually haven't explained the plot. Is like there's so much happening in this movie. There's so much going on. Go ahead. I'm just excited to talk about it.
Our society has only grown more health conscious over the years, to the point that we are willing to try any form of diet if it means we can trim a few pounds. In Troll 2, the Waits family finds out the consequences of turning to a vegan diet and trying to live off the land. They will soon find out what happens when you hop on the diet bandwagon.
If you take one conscious step every day to save yourself a little bit of calories here and there, it'll pay off in the long run.
So, let's get into the cast and crew of this film, which
Good luck with that.
leaves a lot to be desired, more than I wish. So, the director was Claudio Fragasso.
Hey, that sounds right to me. He,
Okay.
Italian director. I think he's directed over like 20-some films with his writer wife, Rosella Drudy. They are very Italian, and that will be seen in this movie by the dialogue.
So he directed, as Joey alluded to, several Italian exploitation films, including After Death and Night Killer. If anybody's ever heard of those.
I like the title. I'll give it that.
Fragasso stated the film was originally to be titled Goblins and was meant to be a more family-oriented horror film with humor about goblins who hated carnivorous humans, as the goblins were vegetarians. However, distributors in the U.S. felt the film would not succeed on its own, so they named it Troll. I'm going to do it a lot in this show. They named it Troll 2, not Trolls 2, instead of Goblins.
So it was a direct reference to the movie Troll from like the mid-'80s, right?
Yes, but it had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it was not a direct continuation at all. See, this is where you're fucking up. There's a rabbit hole involving the whole title of this movie, because there's also a Troll 3. There's a script that was written or being worked on back in like 2009 called Troll 2 Part 2. And then there's like 2 or 3 different versions of Troll 3. And none of those are a continuation of this film at all.
There's 3 Troll 3s?
Something like that. There's like at least 2.
I am confused.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's fucking awesome.
This movie is literally a rabbit hole. Just watch the movie. Don't read any of the other shit about it or watch any documentaries, because that's all I did up until I watched the movie. And it's like, it's a rabbit hole for sure.
So to get into some of these just well-respected and well-known actors in this film. First up, Joshua Waits. It's played by Michael Stevenson, who directed the Netflix original film, Girlfriend's Day, and directed the Troll 2 documentary, Best Worst Movie.
Not only was he the director, he actually was also the producer, writer, camera, electrical department work, soundtrack. I think he actually played a song for the movie. But yeah,
this was for Girlfriend's Day on Netflix?
No. This is for Best Worst Movie. Actually, that's the documentary I'm referring to when I say I watched the documentary, and it makes this movie that much more easy to digest, I guess, in the end.
I will say, Joel, that I watched the documentary first before I watched this movie.
I did. Well, I've seen this movie like a lot, but I did it this time. I rewatched it. I watched this before I rewatched the movie, and it's pretty cool. It sheds a lot of light on why the movie came out the way it did.
Next up is Michael Waits, played by George Hardy, who went to Auburn University and is now a dentist.
Well, funny enough, even like while he was doing this movie, he was a dentist. He was a practicing dentist with his own, his own practice. He would spend half his week at his dentistry, and then fly out to Utah to film the movie. He lives in Alabama, so
he's a real Michael J. Fox from Family Ties. To Back to the Future
he's a real Michael J. Fox. And funny enough, George Hardy actually plays the role of Michael Waits in another movie called Under Control, with the control part, the troll being Troll. But yeah, he reprises the character of Michael Waits in that movie. 2020.
The hell?
I didn't watch it, dude. I told you, I fell down the rabbit hole. I wasn't trying to fucking spend my entire week watching troll movies.
In the troll universe.
So is that connected to Troll 2?
It's the same character. I'm not sure if it's like an exterminator they call. If Michael Waits is the troll exterminator or something, and they just call him in this movie. I'm not sure. But
that sounds fantastic.
I think that's something we could look into.
I thought he was fucking great, personally.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Next up is Diana the Mom Waits. I say mom because I don't think her name's actually ever said in the film. Played by Margot Prey, and this is her only acting credit. Next up is Holly Waits, played by Connie Young, and she is now the host of Norditrack infomercials.
Oh, she's still working out.
Next up is Grandpa, played by Robert Ormsby, and you guessed it, this is also his only acting credit.
Grandpa Seth.
It's pretty strange because we've talked about pretty much 5 of the 6 to 7 main cast members so far, and Margot Prey and Robert Ormsby both actually advertise themselves as working actors in the documentary. Like they're literally still like looking for work after 1990's Troll 2, and no one will cast them. They really let you know what you're in for.
Well, George Hardy was able to get a role in some random.
George Hardy was actually great.
Charisma.
I thought the grandpa wasn't terrible.
I thought Grandpa Seth was cool. I was convinced the whole time that he was it Burl Ives, the guy who did the voice of Sam the Snowman and Rudolph? I was like, is this the same fucking guy? He had the exact same voice, the same cadence, everything. I was disappointed when I found out he was not. But yeah, I mean, sure, they're probably working actors. They probably do like local plays and things like that. But the mom was god-awful. The worst acting in the movie, in my opinion.
Last but certainly not least is the witch, played by Deborah Reed, who was the makeup artist on Dumb and Dumber.
That's the one thing I got her credited for. And her name actually is Credence Lenoir Gielgud.
It's never said.
Yeah, it's said.
She introduces herself that way.
Yeah. It's just funny because it's such a unique fucking name.
I thought she was great too. She
was so over the top, but she was fantastic. And my God, she cleaned up good.
Oh, that popcorn scene was something else. Little snippet on her. She had a son in this movie that is one of the kids in the little town congregation. So, good on her. So the entire cast went to a casting call hoping to be extras in this film, and they all ended up in leading roles.
Yeah, the film is pretty much made up almost entirely of locals. Like, all these people are from fucking Utah. Margot Prey, her character, she lives in Utah. Robert Ormsby lives in Utah.
The two actors that can't find work anymore.
Don Packard, the guy who plays the drugstore owner, like my favorite character in the movie. He's actually he's local.
That dude was super creepy.
There's a couple other cast members I want to talk about before we go any further. Elliot Cooper is played by Jason Wright. It's the character that is Holly's boyfriend. He's actually an accomplished author. He has 3 novels that have appeared on the New York Times bestseller list. And the character Brent, played by David McConnell, is actually one of the stars in a little 1999 movie starring Lou Diamond Phillips called Bats.
Oh,
I've seen
shit.
Bats.
You
I
fucking remember
Bats.
Bats, Chris? How many
I
times
remember the
have we watched
VHS
Bats?
cover for sure.
Yeah, he plays the sheriff in that movie. I remember
God
watching
damn.
that movie probably about, 5-6 times maybe. I don't remember the first thing about it.
Yeah. It had like an 8-legged freak
is-
feel to it, if I remember correctly. But it was more horror than comedy, right?
Yeah.
That is a classic local video store rental.
Oh, yeah,
VHS
100%.
Right there.
I haven't thought about that in 20 years.
Fracasso's wife, Rosella Drudy, who only spoke Italian, wrote the screenplay in very poor English. On set, the actors suggested they ad-lib their lines to make the dialogue sound better. Fragasso forbid that, and all the lines had to be read as written.
All things I didn't know till after I'd seen the movie. So it added to the experience not knowing that for me.
Did you guys actually hear or figure out why the plot is the way it is? Why there's so much vegetarian shit going on?
Well, did they write this with like some kind of theme or like a message they were trying to get across?
Yeah, something like that. Apparently, Rosella Drudy, a lot of her friends were making the switch to being, vegans and vegetarians. They were swearing off meats, and it was one of those things of it was a big fuck you to a lot of her friends because she thought it was super weird.
I'm gonna get back at y'all with this big American movie. Very subliminal, not obvious.
Morgan, Utah, where the film was shot, held a Troll 2 festival in 2007. The town was transformed into the fictional town of Nilbog, seen in the movie. Screenings of the film were held, and the mayor of Morgan presented director Claudio Fragasso with the key to the city.
And it was that point he was looking for that little Mario keyhole to stick it in somewhere in the world with him being Italian. He was just around looking for it. I love Mario too.
But from what I understand, this guy's pretty offended about the reputation of his work. Is that true?
Masterpiece.
This movie is not made at all to be a comedy.
The last thing that I have here is I could not find how much money this movie made because it only went to VHS, a very bad VHS on top of that. But the estimated budget of the film was a meager $65,000.
I would have said 6,500.
So did the actors just not get paid, or because the special effects had to cost something?
They were all extras, right? They probably got hired as at that pay rate. It's like fucking Oprah. You get a job. You get a job. You get a job.
Well, it's funny that you talk about the cast members getting paid. There's a scene in the movie where one of Elliot's friends is jogging down the road, and he's got a yellow shirt.
Short shorts.
Yeah, he's got them short shorts too. But his yellow shirt has got a logo on the front, and eventually the yellow shirt gets lost during the movie, so he doesn't have his shirt. They made him go and buy another shirt, and also one of the characters, the guy who gets turned into a plant later on, they took his actual shoes and nailed them into that planter, that pot planter.
Like his personal shoes?
Yeah, his personal shoes he was wearing.
Jesus.
They were his shoes. You're talking about the budget. The budget obviously is not going into wardrobe.
Non-existent. I think I remember reading that Creedence, all of her stuff was stuff that she owned, that she was wearing, jewelry and everything.
And with that, fellas, let's get in to Joey's pick of the week, Troll 2.
T2.
We open with a story from Grandpa about a man named Stephen and his discovery of evil goblins, or little people of the night.
This dude's dressed like the fucking Pied Piper running around the woods. Anybody else notice that?
Yeah, it was very Peter Pan-esque.
He might have had a buglehorn somewhere in those woods.
The fuck is a buglehorn?
Did they say they were children of the night?
The grandpa says like a bunch of different ways to say it, and he goes, little people of the night.
There's not a scene in the entire movie filmed at night.
Yeah, we only see him during the fucking day.
Take it up with the fucking
It's
grandpa.
like bright as hell in the scene.
Who is a ghost or not a ghost? We will soon find out. We're not sure.
He's Santa Claus. He's not Santa Claus. He's a fucking snowman.
Spectre. He's a specter.
The opening credit sequence shows Peter running from said goblins. However, the music sounds like a Breakfast Club montage. And man, these goblins do look bad.
The one bug-eyed motherfucker every time. He got me
every time the camera pans to his ass, dude. He's never like on screen. The camera always pans to him. Like, all right, these guys look crazy, but this motherfucker's menacing.
He's just like, motherfucker never moves his face at all.
Super close to his face.
Oh shit!
But to paint you guys a mental picture if you haven't seen the movie yet. Why are you listening to this if you haven't seen the movie?
Check it out. I think it's on YouTube.
The entire movie's on YouTube. Literally how I watched it here. But they're wrapped in burlap sacks, crudely created masks, and most if not all of these goblins, are played by dwarves or little people.
They were dwarves.
Whatever the proper term
that's
is.
Cool. I thought they were children.
They couldn't fit the gloves on a lot of them, so they took them. They duct taped the gloves to their fucking hands and shit.
Did the director order a bunch of like adult large size gloves for a bunch of little people?
He probably told them to bring their own gloves.
Hey, bring your garden
They're all
gloves.
like last season's gloves. This shit doesn't even fit anymore.
Peter is knocked out and awakes to a blonde goddess who gives him a drink of delicious green slime, which turns him into a goblin.
He got the guac. He feeding me the guac, girl.
Mom shows up and Grandpa disappears. We learn that he has been dead for some time, and Joshua has a friendly ghost in Grandpa now.
Kid had a pretty cool room too. I wasn't expecting all the merchandise that we saw in his room for this movie in particular. He had like a Killing Joke poster. He had like several sports teams like pennants and stuff up.
Yeah, but his pennants were all over the place. He had one for like the Oakland A's, the Cincinnati Reds.
He had a Pistons pennant.
Mets. He had a Pistons too. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're all over the country, bro.
This kid was a troubadour. Okay. Mom and Dad have a chat about the upcoming family trip, and about Joshua with his friendly ghost grandpa. To which Dad says that it's okay because he had an imaginary friend as a kid as well. But Mom tells him that it wasn't his dead grandfather though.
So at this point, had she already sat down Josh and talked about that Grandpa was dead, and that his daughter, yada yada yada, like the way that she was explaining her own relationship to her father, to her son, was the most awkward shit, man. But apparently that was verbatim what the script said, so I'm assuming people were like, she doesn't have to specify that she is his daughter, but it was just fucking god-awful.
Joshua wakes up in the middle of the night to Elliot playing a trick on him, and then Elliot goes to bang his sister Holly while she works out.
Yeah, she was working out with the cooter out.
Dude, you see how many reps she was doing with that fucking barbell?
She was sweating her ass off, I know that much.
She was on like the fucking 3,000th rep. She was only lifting like 16 pounds. And then her fucking bench is in the middle of her bedroom. Where does she put that shit when she's not lifting it? Just leaves it in the middle of the floor?
Holly tells Elliot to release his instincts in the bathroom, and that her father would cut his tiny balls off if he found him in her room.
Yeah, like when he first comes on to her, she knees him in the balls, and he comes back with the line written by an Italian woman, apparently. What, are you trying to turn me into a homo? I was like, what the hell? Yeah, then he had like his buddies peeking in through the window. Like, are you done yet, man? I was like, They were just gonna like watch this like rape scene go down.
They're trying to get scraps, bro.
Speaking of the scrap team, Holly doesn't like that Elliot has a ragtag group of friends and tells Elliot that she does not believe in group sex and that he needs to stop hanging around with them.
Yeah, what kind of bitch wants you to drop the boys, man? Like, they ain't hurting nothing, man. Damn.
Who sees, like, what 16-year-old girl sees a guy with his buddies and is like, I am not having sex with all of them. I am not for that.
Yeah, I'm not having sex with that one guy. The rest of them, bring them on. Fuck it. But that one dude with the glasses, hell no.
Elliot's like, oh, that's even on the table. Okay. Holly and Elliot talk about going away on the family trip together, but Elliot misses the deadline. Dad leaves his ass behind. Elliot decides to bring his group of friends along in a camper van to meet up with Holly and her family in the town of Nilbog. Boy, does he love his boys.
Ride or dies, man.
Joshua is having a nightmare in the car about his family turning into goblins and then almost falls victim to a hitchhiker disguised as his grandpa.
There's a part in this scene here where his mom's talking about, hey, sing my favorite song.
That's fucking weird.
And then they start fucking singing row, row, row your boat.
Row, row, row your boat. Come on, everybody together. I was like, what the fuck?
Is that your favorite song?
I guess to an Italian woman, that might be her favorite song.
What are the American kids and what is the mom's favorite song in America?
What's the
Probably
hottest?
fucking Row, Row,
What's
Row.
the
Want
hottest
it,
right now?
dead or alive. They couldn't sing that.
They couldn't get the rights to any of the big 80s music. So. Row, row, fucking public domain it is.
The family shows up late to the Airbnb in Nilbog. The current residents are still there. They soon leave, however, in order to stay at the Waits family home. Was this a thing in the 90s where you like house swapped with another family?
Yeah, I was curious if this was a real thing or not.
I think this is our first instance of the show Wife Swap, but it's like house swap instead.
Is that a show or is that like a porn genre?
Yeah, it's like a show where they switch wives.
I think it's both, actually.
They get to experience life like, as a part of another family. I'm not sure there's any fucking going on, but I think...
Dude, like, no. Daughter swap is where it's... God.
They perform their wifely duties with another family.
Some might call that a cuck. But anywho.
Oh, wasn't there like a whole Chappelle skit about this?
Yeah.
Where he put his dick through his boxers.
You gonna take care of this monster?
I don't like to take off my underpants when I make love.
I found your lightsaber. It smelled funny. The family finds fresh cooked food with green ooze dolloped all over it. The dad tells everyone to dig in. What the fuck is going on?
What was the green paste on everything that no one seemed to fucking acknowledge?
Man. That's the guac juice, bro.
They were so fucking out. I love his optimism. That's why I like this actor
Everybody's
so much.
so hyped up to eat this green shit. Like
he goes,
they literally
God
are passing
damn, that's
around.
hospitality.
They passing it down. They passing around like English muffins with like green butter smeared on top.
Oh shit, that's gonna be great.
Talking about, damn, that looking good.
To just like throw on more food that's on this table than what Joey just said, there is everything from butter biscuits to corn on the cob covered in some green icing shit. Before the family digs in, Grandpa shows up and tells Joshua he must figure a way to stop them from eating the food before they all turn into goblins. So what does he do? Well, Joshua pisses all over the food.
As about this point, I think during the really shitty freeze frame where everybody's blinking and moving their hands and shit when they're supposed to be frozen.
The dad was struggling hard.
He was. I felt bad for him. But the daughter, this is at the point I was like, I couldn't figure out who she reminded me of to this point, but then it hit me. Jodie Foster. Apologies to one of the greatest actresses of all time.
Yeah, I can see it.
She looked like a very young Jodie Foster. Again, apologies to Jodie Foster.
Yeah, big apologies.
Can you blame all these fucking people for blinking their eyes? A little kid's about to whip his dick out in front of all of them. Like, I think they're the mindset. These fucking crazy Italian bastards. They do some crazy stuff over there. They're not gonna stop this kid.
Dad carries Joshua to his room and tells him that this all was hospitality. You can't piss on hospitality.
I won't allow it.
And then he tightens the belt. That was my favorite fucking part. I was like, oh, he gonna whoop his ass.
Joshua's like, what are you gonna do, Daddy? He's gonna tighten it up one notch. to prevent hunger pains, and his wife and daughter are going to have to do the same thing. Is this an actual thing to make you not hungry? You tighten your belt up a lot, like wrap a fucking towel around your stomach?
This is the nicest fucking dad ever, man.
This is an example of like the Italian lost in translation shit.
To that point, so this family shows up to this house, and were they expecting food to be on the table for them? Because why is he so pissed off about this food being ruined?
Because you don't piss on hospitality, son. He won't allow it.
One of Elliot's crew members, Arnold, sees a blonde girl running in the woods, who is apparently a different blonde girl from earlier in the film. So, of course, he chases her, and the goblins stab him with a spear.
Dude, he launches that shit like a javelin, hits him in the chest.
I wasn't crazy in thinking this was the same blonde girl, right? They looked exactly the same.
I was under the impression it was another goblin impersonating a girl.
Arnold and the blonde girl run to a nearby house to be introduced to a witch from Stonehenge. What's her name, Joey?
Credence Lenore Gilgood.
The witch gives them a steamy cup of broth to heal them from the goblins' attack. The blonde girl turns into a pool of green slime, and the goblins eat her. Arnold freaks out and gives a very dramatic line of, "Oh my God."
No, that's not what he says.
That's not what he says. They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Yeah, this is like the meme. This is how.
So was born one of the most popular internet memes for a while.
This is how I knew of the movie, just from that one clip of him doing that.
I can honestly say I've never seen that meme before. Joshua decides to take Holly's room because the ghost of Grandpa showed up, his best friend. Grandpa tells Joshua that he must get the family out of this house because the evil is very strong here.
Well, she's over there doing a crazy ass dance that I don't know who the fuck choreographed this shit. And she looks in the mirror, and then Grandpa pops up, says, "Joshua, Joshua." She starts screaming and hollering, "Mom!"
Yeah, and then the fucking dad runs in. He goes, "Now where's that damn mirror?"
He's fucking looking right into shit. Where's the damn mirror? He's talking to himself.
Oh, I love that fucking dad. And then finally he gets to talk to Grandpa Seth, and Grandpa Seth says, "I haven't figured out the layout of this house yet." Dumbest fucking explanation any ghost has ever given.
And can he not see? I guess he's blind. I don't know.
Fucking know, man.
All right, good Lord. Another member of Elliot's crew goes for a walk, only to be picked up by the local sheriff and given a green slimed Phil sandwich. Again, people are really excited to eat this shit.
Yeah, the kid talks about how good it is, too. He just nibbles it. There's no way he got a good bite out of it. He's like, "Oh, it's pretty fucking good, actually." He just starts chowing down.
The sheriff then drops him off at the general store, where we learn from the creepy clerk that the locals have gotten onto the vegan trend, and this place is fresh out of bacon.
The most menacing character in the entire movie, Don Packard.
Yeah, way creepier than any of the goblins we see.
There's actually a reason he's so creepy. You learn from the documentary that he's actually a local mental patient who was on one of his off days, or he's allowed to go into the city every now and then from the hospital. This was one of his off days, and he got cast in this role. And apparently his whole look comes from the fact that he is, like, disturbed.
Wow.
Sadly, Don Packard actually died in May of this year. So,
Damn.
R.I.P. Gone too soon. There's no coffee in Neilbog. That's the devil's drink. You got any eggs? Take some of this Neilbog milk. Neilbog milk. Farm raised.
He said it's full of the vitamins.
Arnold has turned into a flower for the witch, who has also made a delicious-looking cheesecake with, you guessed it, green icing for the Waits family to enjoy. I thought it looked fantastic. That thing looked fucking amazing.
I can get past all the green shit, man.
All right, you guys saw how shit like the costume was on that guy, right?
On his
Dan
face,
Patrick?
the veins.
The special effect,
Oh,
the makeup to him. He had to sit in that for 18 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah, to get to look that shitty.
I had to go in at 2 o'clock in the morning to get ready to shoot for the fucking day. And this is what you give me.
That sounds like hell for that dude.
Yeah, apparently they had actually filmed his scenes without that mouthpiece that's on his face, but he kept complaining, so they put it on his face so he shut the fuck up.
Can we just duct tape this fucker's mouth while we shoot this?
Pretty much.
But yeah, Credence is great, man. She hams her shit up so much. It was, I don't know. I like that lady a lot.
Yeah, if George Hardy isn't the star of the movie, then it's definitely Deborah Reed.
That lady sexualized every line of dialogue she gave to everybody.
Can you imagine her squirting all that green shit on you?
Dad and Joshua go to the general store for supplies. Joshua realizes that Nilbog is goblin spelt backwards.
The facade of Nilbog is starting to crack, sounds like.
It's goblin backwards.
Next up, the witch walks right into the Waits' home. Just, doors open. And the mom greets her with southern hospitality and thanks her for that delicious cheesecake. Again, just loving the icing on everything.
An ancient recipe.
Your daughter looks very appetizing.
She didn't make that line sexual.
Everything she said was fucking sexual, bro. I'm telling you, this lady was so horny.
It got me hard.
I'm surprised I didn't have to pause the movie more than once.
Joshua decides to go check out an old warehouse where a Billy Ray Cyrus impersonator, or a preacher, I couldn't figure it out, is talking about how disgusting steaks and sausages are to the town's congregation. They calls hemorrhoids.
I got much more of a young Kenny Rogers vibe.
My exact note here is this the lead singer of Alabama?
That's probably the best one.
He says, clusters of hemorrhoids, vicious, stinking excrement. This dude talks about shit for like 5 minutes. And the whole time I'm like, sweet potato pie, shut my mouth.
Meanwhile, Holly finally goes to see Elliot and tells him to make a choice between her or his friends. Then she punches his ass in the face.
I do not take ultimatums very well. In that situation, I'm just clamming up and taking the punch. Like I'm acting like I'm KO, bro. I'm just fucking knocked out for the rest of the movie.
It was just so weird how she was so set on, I will fuck your brains out if you don't hang out with these guys. I don't know why she harped on that so fucking much.
The preacher discovers Joshua, grabs him, and almost makes him eat some delicious Nilbog ice cream before Dad shows up to save the day. The congregation let them go peacefully.
Again, Dad being way too fucking nice when he just walks in on all these people clearly about to attack his child. He thanks them. It's nice to meet you all. Just backs out slowly.
What are you doing to my son? Yeah, we're just feeding him ice cream. We're just force feeding him ice cream, bro.
I wish this guy was my fucking dentist.
Oh, I bet he's a fantastic dentist.
I bet he's so fun to talk to. Sticking he has green shit he just squirts in your mouth. Open up, Chris.
Tell me about hospitality. Dad and Joshua pick up Elliot and Holly on the way home, while Arnold is discovered by his friend who ate the sheriff's sandwich. He tries to drag Arnold out of the witch's house by his pot. Like a plant pot.
Pull out the pot, motherfucker. Just pull out the whole goddamn pot.
He was trying so hard to pretend like he couldn't speak, like his lips wouldn't move. It was fucking awful.
So this is where I got a little confused. Maybe you two can help me out here. The witch.
Oh, now we're
up.
confused. Okay.
Now we're
confused.
confused. Everything.
We've been good up to this point.
Now, okay. The
Rock
witch shows
solid.
up.
Christopher Nolan level logic to this point.
The witch shows up and punishes Arnold by cutting his legs off with a chainsaw. Is that what happened? I'm not sure.
She turned him into like a milkshake. Isn't that what she said she was going to do?
Yeah, she was going to chop him down and throw his ass in a blender.
Yeah, I think she just blended him up. Just cut him off with the legs. She said it's going to tickle.
The crew with Dad show up at the house. to find Mom enjoying a damn hoedown with the town's congregation and their sweet green icing treats.
And nobody has eaten at this fucking point, right? Nobody in the family has eaten a thing.
Nobody. But I think the mom says, they brought us this delicious food. And people are just loving the green shit, man. Joshua tries to summon Grandpa in Holly's room before his family eats the sweet treats. But a goblin shows up and attacks him.
Yeah, that mirror jump was fucking dope, man. I liked it.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought that was one of the best effects in the whole fucking movie. I was like, oh shit, motherfucker flying out the mirror.
You're expecting to see Grandpa, and here's him created his fucking face.
And then they do the reverse shot where it sucks back up. I thought that was pretty fucking cool. Pretty fucking cool. I'll give it that. I'll give you that.
Yeah, right.
No T2, but it was a T2 move.
So Grandpa finally shows up and cuts the goblin's hand off before it attacks Joshua. So I guess Grandpa isn't a ghost?
Hey, I don't know what the fuck Grandpa is at this point. He's like a Patronus or some shit.
He can react. He can interact with like actual physical objects in the world. So I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
You're gonna go back to hell where you're from. I like that part. That's cool.
Can we talk about like all the scabies and shit these people have on their faces?
Oh yeah, I did skip that.
Like that.
The clovers. What the hell was that
Yeah.
about? Was that like their puncture marks from their turning?
Yeah, I think it was just one of those things that differentiates them between like normal humans and marks them. I actually have a hot take about that. So we know these goblin people have like face herpes, right?
Yeah.
All right, hear me out.
Or neck
we
herpes.
We also know that Drew Brees has that shit spot on his face as well. Is it possible that Drew Brees, Pride of New Orleans, is in fact a vegetarian goblin creature?
I like this connection. I'm gonna go yes.
I'm thinking this is somebody that escaped Neil Bogg.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say yes. That's 2-1.
And Drew Brees got caught up in that diamond Ponzi scheme. We know goblins like shiny things, so
Diamond Ponzi scheme.
yeah. Look it up. I don't have time to go into it. What do you mean? The goblin is transformed back into the witch, who is now missing a hand thanks to Grandpa. But she soon regrows that missing limb by sticking it in the rock, or the Stonehenge.
It's like the Stonehenge magical rock or something. It's strange.
We're starting to get really out of hand with... It's hard to follow.
It's funny, that hand he cuts off, actually, like in that scene where she jumps through the mirror, it cuts to a shot of her laying on the ground as a goblin. And she's got her fingers up in a fucking West Side Gang sign.
Well, here's another kind of weird take, but this woman had very attractive hands. I did notice that in this
The
scene.
hell?
Weird, I know, but the woman
You
had
a
very
hands
attractive
man,
hands.
sir?
Not usually, but this woman had nice hands. I think it was just
knows?
her theatrics, man. She always had them like in your face, and they were very prominent. She just had nice hands.
They're all nice when they're wrapped around my throat.
We learned so much on this show, I tell you. Grandpa gives Joshua a Molotov cocktail, but the preacher takes the cocktail from Joshua. However, yet again, Grandpa is able to light it with his superpowers and kills the preacher.
I like how we just gloss over the fact that this elderly man, this man with possible dementia, just handed his fucking grandson a Molotov cocktail.
Who do you say that's so fucking like? Oh, first off, Grandpa gives him a Molotov cocktail like you do on fucking Thanksgiving when you're hanging out with your grandpa.
Yeah.
The movie is so out of control at this point, a Molotov cocktail is welcomed. There's something normal, a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah. A little bit of Russian guerrilla warfare influenced in the Italian version of this American film.
The preacher turns into a dead goblin, and Dad now realizes that Joshua was not lying. The townsfolk are ready to kill them, so what do? You lock your family inside of the house.
Well, first the goblins let them slowly walk backwards when they're completely fucking surrounded without moving. For like 5 minutes straight. They do like the Peter Griffin.
And everybody has, like, stripper eyes. Like, everybody's just kind of just there. I didn't get that either.
They're waiting for them At this point, they kind of tell them they want them to eat, right? That's like a requirement for them to be ingested or something.
Yeah, they have to ingest the green shit.
Because they don't taste the same. So they're just waiting them out till they fucking eat at this point. Is that what happened?
Well, I think it's like in everything. I think it's like the water supply and everything has like the green shit in it.
Okay. The witch shows up in the form of a goddess. Oh boy. For the last of Elliot's crew at the van, she seduces him by doing a little striptease and then making him eat a piece of corn on the cob, Lady and the Tramp style, while popcorn bursts around them.
Oh, baby. Oh, yeah, babe. Here comes the butter.
I thought she was going to peg his ass with this thing when she brought it in.
She sticks it in her pocket like it's a fucking Glock, dude, when she like goes into the camper.
This dude is the luckiest motherfucker in the movie. This is the last we see of him, right?
Yeah, I don't think he dies. I think he just gets he gets fucked so good, fucking corn turns into popcorn.
He just has like all the fucking popcorn he could eat.
It does get back to he's like, no more, please, no more.
This dude just had the greatest moment of his teenage life, and he just gets to fucking lay there and butter popcorn goodness for an hour, and then just go the fuck home.
Ken, I mean, there's a lot to break down in this scene, but for one, the witch was hot. That's number one.
Oh yeah, she was smoking.
Yeah, she was.
Good God. But secondly, the popcorn shit was just, what the fuck?
Fantastic.
That's a memorable scene, man. I've never seen a sex scene like that.
The family realizes that they must conduct a seance. Joshua summons Grandpa for the entire family to finally hear.
I love this. Right before this bit, the fucking sheriff is outside with a shotgun. He cocks it, shoots the motherfucker in the air, and he goes, "They didn't show any signs of life. I don't like that." I'm like, what the fuck are they gonna do?
Let them know we're still here.
We're still here. Listen to this shit. And then he pauses. No signs of life. I don't like this. What's going on here?
I'm not sure if it's before this or after this, but he's also got like a bag with a bunch of sandwiches inside of it, and he tosses it on the door. He says, "It'll be a lot easier if y'all just eat this shit." He fucking throws it up there like he's door dashing.
Yeah, this is the fucking the conception of DoorDash right here. What if we get them to bring the food to you?
I think he says, I got these sandwiches. This dude's always got some sandwiches on him.
I don't think there was anything on him either. It was just the fucking green slime in between two pieces of bread.
Grandpa tells Joshua at the seance that they must destroy the magic stone that gives the goblins their power. The goblins show up and attack the family, while Joshua is transported to the witch's lair. Joshua is then attacked by a goblin, but yet again, Grandpa shows up to save the day. He gives Joshua a special backpack and shows him the Stonehenge magic stone. That's the exact line from the movie.
Touch the stone. You have to believe.
Grandpa's OP. Go ahead and say that.
At this point, I don't know what the fuck he is.
I get very much Gandalf the White vibes.
Ooh.
I'm sure Ian McKellen watched this before he went on to one of the greatest portrayals of any character ever.
I want to be this grandpa. All Joshua has to do is touch the stone, and it will kill the goblins, according to Grandpa. The witch begins to lose her powers due to Joshua touching said stone. She gathers the goblins for the final battle.
That fucking goblin that like grabbed his little ass was like legit manhandling that little kid. Like they were fucking going at it for a minute. I was like, oh shit, he's like really choking this little boy.
I feel like the dwarf actually like takes offense to Joshua. Like he's intimidated, so he's like, I'm gonna show this little fucker what's what.
I'm gonna prison choke your ass.
I kind of wanted to see them like legit go at it, just who the fuck would win, you know?
Well, Grandpa would probably show up and, use superpowers and x-ray vision his ass.
Cheat.
The witch is about to give Joshua a pie face of green slime when he pulls out a double-decker bologna sandwich out of the backpack that Grandpa gave him.
Think of the cholesterol. No. Your stinky bladder.
Ew.
The witch and the goblins freak out just as the family shows up to help touch the stone and finally destroy the goblins and the witch for good. A double-decker bologna sandwich was the lethal weapon to this entire movie.
I'm not a fan of bologna anything, so I cannot condone the double-decker bologna sandwich.
Dude, fried bologna is so
No.
good.
Negative.
I remember as a kid, my family would buy fat-free bologna. May cause anal leakage. The family drives home and begins their lives again. Joshua goes in his room with a badass Batman poster on the wall. Was this poster in the beginning scene?
Yeah, was it? No. You're talking about the Michael Keaton one?
Yeah.
No, we didn't see that at the beginning. We saw the Joker, the Killing Joke poster at the beginning, which was also fucking awesome.
They show this Batman poster for multiple
It
scenes.
was very prominent, yeah. This kid's room was fucking like half of the budget. It was awesome.
Joshua hears a strange noise and goes downstairs to see the goblins eating his dead mother in a pile of green ooze on the table. The end.
I think we actually get to see her hard-ass nipples in this scene, too.
Did you see
Even though
something?
I think it's like fake titties, obviously.
I thought it was a bra.
It's yeah, but damn, it's a bra with like the nipple hole cut out in it.
I didn't zoom in. I didn't have like an HD cut. So.
I didn't have to zoom in either. They was pokey as hell.
Maybe it was cold. She was in the shower. Maybe it was a cold shower.
It almost alludes to Josh actually being a goblin himself. If we cut back to earlier in the movie when they're like trying to force feed him, this is me going down the rabbit hole. They're trying to force feed him the ice cream. He actually gets some on his lip and he licks it off. You can see he licks it real quick. And then at the end of the movie, one of the goblins asks, "Josh, do you want some?"
No, he said,
You want a little bit of this? Your mama's pussy tastes good. Come here and suck on your mama's titty.
Oh, and with that wraps up Troll 2.
Troll 2. Over too soon.
T2. This is the T2 for me going forward, just so everybody fucking knows.
This came out before T2, so that's something that's in Troll 2's favor. With that, from this best worst movie of all time, fellas, what piece of memorabilia would you want from it?
This is an easy one for me. I just need some a road sign, a Nilbog road sign, anything with Nilbog on it.
Yeah, it's
just
pretty cool.
Just so I can throw it up on the wall, you know.
That's a solid one.
Me, I'm going to think outside the bun on this one. The preacher in the bolo tie has about the sweetest head of hair that I've ever seen in a movie. I need that dude. It's 2021. Somebody grow that on a lab rat's ass for me and just transplant it onto my head pronto. I want that hair. I would almost argue that before I lost my hair was just like his.
I'm going to go ahead and debate that, but we'll leave it there. But he specifically said clusters of fucking hemorrhoids. I've never heard anybody refer to hemorrhoids as clusters. It just reminds me of like a chocolate cluster or something.
Oh,
fucking
Jesus.
disgusting.
I'm not going to be able to eat a fucking pecan turtle from here on out.
Like one of those take fives where the fuck you get now.
Shut the fuck up, bro.
Talk about a clover leaf.
Clusters of
Yeah, where do you
hemorrhoids.
guys keep your clusters of hemorrhoids? I mean, pecan turtle.
Be guys. And for me, I am a fat kid at heart. I've already brought it up one time in this film. I'm going with that cheesecake with that green icing, baby. I want the
Nasty.
whole thing.
Ugh, I couldn't eat anything in this movie, man.
And maybe the witch comes with it. I don't know.
Now we're talking. I guess I could eat one thing in this movie, but we'll leave it at that.
Good parlay. Next up, let's get into some fan reviews, and this was something else.
This shit's going to be all over the place, guaranteed.
Only got two because they were, like you said, all over the place. Matt B says, I've seen worse, but nevertheless, this is wretched. Bottom of the barrel stuff. 1 star. And the next up, Tom G says, there is no way to truly describe Troll 2. 2 stars. What is your letter grade for Troll 2?
All right, I'm not going to set this up with the letter grade. I will end with the letter grade because I think it's important to segue how I got there. So when Joy set this up, I was pretty apathetic. I knew it was going to be awful and probably a waste of 90 minutes of my life. This is the type of shit movie I'm going to have to watch in 3 different sittings. That's kind of what I was thinking. I am not one usually to enjoy a garbage movie, so I sit there. 15 minutes in, whatever, half an hour goes by, sure. An hour goes by, then it hits me. I hadn't paused this shit once. I haven't thought about stopping this thing once. You, sir, have made a fan of me. This dog shit was awesome. As fun as it gets, I'm smashing the like button. I can't give an A. Because if I gave this movie a fucking A, I would never be allowed to give an opinion again. But hot damn, this was fucking great. I'm going to give this a B+.
Damn, that is a hot take.
This shit was fucking awesome. I do have the documentary lined up to watch, so I was that interested in everything that I wanted to watch the documentary.
All right, the documentary is fantastic. I am going to begin with my letter grade, and it's much lower than that. I'm giving this a letter grade of a D. This movie has definitely lived up to being the best worst movie ever made. It was clearly directed by a man who made a living on Italian exploitation films and tried to bring that style to American audiences. I would actually recommend that people go out of their way to watch this film because it was one hell of a ride. And I appreciate the recommendation, Joy.
Don't forget your popcorn.
This movie is super divisive, man. It's definitely found its audience from when it was first released, for sure. But yeah, let's get into my my letter grade. Much like Chris's, it's going to come at the end of the review. It's well known how much I appreciate and like this movie, but I'm going to try and be as much of a critic as I can be. Let's get this out of the way. In a traditional sense, Troll 2 is a terrible movie. The dialogue is borderline ass. The acting is stiff. It's amateur. The plot is almost impossible to follow. But under all this green shit and general awfulness, the movie is just fun. It's such a bad movie that it's good. I'm a sucker for a good bad movie, and Troll 2 strikes that chord beautifully, although that chord may actually be a brown note. I'm going to give Troll 2 a solid B. Yeah, the movie, like Chris said, is dog shit, but it's dog shit with a heart. Give Troll 2 a chance, and you just may find yourself with a new favorite cult classic.
With that, Chris, how close were we to the Rotten Tomatoes fan score?
All right, let's see what we got here. So let's give them the quick recap on our guesses for that Rotten Tomato audience fan score. I myself went with a 25%, Professor Hootie the 19%, and then Joseph with a 30% guess. I guess we all kind of thought it was one of those real shit movies that most people probably disliked. And the actual audience score is a 44%.
Holy shit,
Good
that's
God.
way higher than I thought it would be.
It's like twice the... Wasn't Leviathan like in the 20s?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think Leviathan's better than this film, and I will take that. I will start that.
Oh,
Just to go first
okay.
take right now.
I'll agree. It was a better made movie.
Yeah, but it was so generic, man. It took no risk at all.
Not as enjoyable. Can you give it that much?
It was not as enjoyable, no, but it was a better made film.
I'll probably watch Troll 2 once a year for the rest of my life. I mean, the movie is so unique.
Yeah, fucking awful. But yeah, it looks like we missed the mark.
Just by a smidge.
Just a smidge.
Looks
Closest
like
one
we're
was
back
14
to
points.
the Wheel of Fortune. Or Misfortune, if we get the Amityville Horror.
We got to hit the rando wheel again, boys.
The wheel has been spun.
The rando wheel has kicked us to Evil Dead 2 from 1980.
Oh shit! Hootie about to cream his fucking. Where's the butt at, Hootie? You gonna make some
I'm
popcorn
so
with this?
Let's just roll this thing into next week, man. Let's just go.
We can pop some popcorn for this one.
we'll bring the corn on the cob. Hootie's gonna bring the butter.
Let's all get groovy.
Hootie brings the honey. Put the honey on the butter. Honey butter on popcorn. I bet that is fucking good, actually.
Yeah, it's probably fucking delicious.
I'll try it before the next episode and tell you all about it.
Alrighty, folks, if you want to hit that pause button, hit up to YouTube, check out the Evil Dead 2 trailer with us. We'll see you on the other side.
"4 years ago, in this quiet forest, in this cozy cabin, something happened. Something so frightening. Something so deadly. Something so evil. We prayed it would never happen again."
Fellas, I don't think you understand the significance of the movie that's coming up next. We get to talk about Bruce Campbell himself.
When we do the thing, then I'll fucking be hard as a rock, jizzing everywhere. Till then, I'll let you fanboy over this one.
All right, boys, with the trailers in the books, let's take a stab at some audience fan scores for Rotten Tomatoes for Evil Dead 2, Sam Raimi's baby from 1987.
I'll go first. I think Hootie should go last because he's such a
fuck
such a
Hootie.
Raimi-ophile.
Such a Raimi head.
I'm gonna go like crazy high, even though I'm not sure it's completely justified. I like these movies, but I'm not the biggest fan of them. I'll say 82.
Yeah, I'm personally a big Army of Darkness guy. Well, an Army of Darkness kid. Probably haven't seen it since I was a kid.
This is my boomstick.
I'm positive this is the most well-received, I would guess, of the three. So, I'm going to go with an 88.
I believe you fellas are shooting a little low here. This is the best of the franchise, for sure. And I'm going to go with a 92.
Still really high scores across the board, considering how divisive horror films are.
I think coming from Troll 2 to this one, we should expect
quite a bump.
The plot should somewhat make sense.
Thank you for listening. You could find us on damn near any podcast platform. Check out the socials and whatnot on the website, horriblefilmschool.com. Subscribe and follow. Spread the love. If you can, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. I'm going to use this sign-off to offer my support to women who refer to themselves only in relation to other people. You are worthy. You are seen.
As always, if you listen to this show, please tell this one person you know. Spread the love. Spread the campaign. And I am giving out some extra credit homework this week to anybody who shows some of that great hospitality. And I'm out.
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate what the guys have said, as I always do. We appreciate all the likes, tweets. Is that something we do, tweets?
Is that, do we tweet her sometimes?
Do we do like tweets about this?
We are in the Twitterverse, yes.
All right, we appreciate all the likes, retweets, listens, recommendations to your friends and everything. And we're really stoked. I'm happy for Hootie for next week, getting to watch his movie. But on a more somber note, I want to pay our respects to Michael K. Williams. Unfortunately, he passed away here. I think it was the 9th of September.
Chalky.
Chalky White, pretty much in my book. That's what my man will always be. And although his circumstances were unfortunate, the characters he played have really resonated with all of us here at Horrible Film School. Thanks, man, and appreciate all you did. Thanks. All right, guys, and with that, good night, goodbye, good luck.